it's kind of tense and brooding, and there's anger in it. And I like that. And it also suggests that she hasn't reached her apex of anger yet, but she will. She
Yeah.
will. Hey, everybody out there. Welcome back to another episode of the Audiophiles. It's Andy, it's John, and it's time to listen to some music. John is going to be offering up something for me to go off and listen to, and then we're going to come back and chop it up. But I need to know what that track is and who the artist is. So, John, take it away, my friend.
We got a band called Sprints. Have you heard of them?
I don't think so, no.
Coolio. Well, you won't have heard the track then either. It's called
No.
Cathedral.
Cathedral by Sprints. Okay.
That's all you get.
Yeah. It's a very indie rock sounding name, but never judge a book by its cover. I will go off and give this a listen and come back and let you and everybody out there know what I think. Okay, so I kind of have a feeling of where this is going. We'll see, but I love the way it starts off with these chugging, distorted kind of guitar chords that we've got going on here, and then just after that come these drums fortified by this rolling tom beat, and it's kind of like thunder, but thunder in the distance, but it's not in the distance as if it's left you. It's if it's on the horizon, you see it coming toward you, and it's foreboding, and it's kind of like foreshadowing for more to come. And I think that that's what they're doing musically too, right? They're like assembling this thing to create tension and build tension so that it's likely, I think, going to culminate in something, because now you've got these manic guitar chords that are just peppered in. Her voice kicks up a little bit, which I actually love her voice. It's interesting. It's almost spoken word, but the emotions in the voice is what give her infliction some flair. So you've got, I don't know, it's almost like resentment and anger in her voice. Maybe a little bit of anguish. But yeah, she's definitely emoting, and it's giving her tone this flair in her infliction, and I like that. It also adds to the kind of tense atmosphere that the song possesses. So yeah, let's see where it goes with these guitars now peppering in. I think we're gonna be in for some noise. I'm hoping anyway.
Maybe not enough. Maybe that's the beauty. Maybe that's the pain. Maybe living's easy. Maybe dying's the same.
Yep. Okay, so I love this because here I go again with another metaphor, but so we have this thing building up and building up, and now when the guitars cut out, it's like the tide is receding back into the sea, but only to form this giant tidal wave that's about to wash over the listener. And it does just that. It smacks you right in the face, wall of sound. But then as that is happening and you're getting pulled into sea, there's this bass line underneath all of that that's like the undertow grabbing the ankles of the listener and yoking them into the undertow. This is good, powerful stuff. It's not something that I've never heard before or anything like that, but for what they had a goal and they've succeeded in their goal. Let's just say that musically. They went for a sound, they went for these certain dynamics and this certain sort of construct, and they've nailed it. I love this so much. I love her, like, the emotion that's clearly coming through in her vocal delivery. Great shit. Of the friction in the guitars, it's only adding to the sort of the intensity of the music and the build of the emotion therein. Yeah, it's good stuff. Excellent choice by the guitarist to sort of add that very little touch to this song. Yes. There's this melody, this da-na-na-na-na. On the guitars, it's buried behind all of the sound, but you can hear it, and that's another lovely touch. Wow. Yeah, this is just a big ball of emotion that just steamrolls you for about 3 minutes. There's a little bit of building in there, but man, when it kicks off, it bowls you over. The anguish in her voice or frustration or whatever it is really fuels her vocal delivery. And I mean, I hate to say this, it's like at her expense. She's the one going through this, but it's like, it's enjoyable to listen to when you hear it packaged in this sort of artistic box and wrapping. Yeah, this is good stuff. I'd love to know the source of her of these emotions that I've spoken of here and what's fueling it all. But I definitely loved just having that smack me right in the face. That's 3 shots of espresso right to the gob. Yeah, good stuff. I really love to learn more about these guys. Hopefully John can fill in the blanks about who they are, how long they've been around, and what this song is about, and what's the source of her anguish and her anger. Well, let's get back to them and find out.
Okay, you're back. What do you make of it all?
Well, I enjoyed this song. I really did. Talk about energy and like unbridled emotion going on in this track. Which, you know, a song with the timestamp that it had would almost suggest that, right? This is probably going to be a big rolling ball of butcher knives, and then it's going to wrap up pretty quickly. And that is exactly what it was. I mean, it starts off with these really great, like chugging kind of the guitar chords, distorted. Again, I'm getting just a bit more than an underlying feeling of angst to this song already as it starts. It's accompanied by some really nice tom forward rolling drums. And it almost sounds like, to me, like distant, imminent thunderstorms rolling in over the horizon. And you know that they're coming toward you and not away from you. So there is this it's almost like it's a tensious precursor to more tension and to more angst that the song is, like I said, already suggesting. And the vocalist begins the first verse, and we get this like sort of sinister vibe from the spoken word delivery. It's kind of tense and brooding, and there's anger in it. And I like that. And it also suggests that she hasn't reached her apex of anger yet, but she will. She will.
Yes.
Around the 50-second marker, we get these brief sonically manic visitations from this frantic chord on the guitar, which only like further builds this now swelling unease of the song, as if something's around the bend. And oh boy, is it. Within 10 seconds of that aforementioned brief musical motif, we get a second or two of the music of, like, I guess I don't know if it's the music, because I can't remember if the drum beat's still going, but the guitar falls back. The guitar recedes. And then we get her delivering this line, maybe dying's the same, which is delivered fervently and just screaming, really, before all hell breaks loose. And the friction of the guitar and this juggernaut-like pace of the drums sweep over you like a tidal wave. And there's this undercurrent beneath that tidal wave. So that receding is literally like the waters pulling back from the shoreline to manifest in this like monolithic wave that's about to crush you. And it does. And when it does, the undertow comes in the form of this bass line, and like kind of like does that little fill, and it kind of grabs your ankles and yokes you further into the depths of the sea. It is a tidal wave of anger and frustration, and almost a helpless plea behind that anger that she's delivering. And it's very evocative and emotive, and I'm enjoying it very much. And then things slightly calm down just a bit with the guitar cutting out briefly, which allows this now fuzzed out bass and rapid drums to both shine. But it also continued, but there's also this like continuous unrelenting pace to the song, despite it not being as loud as that aforementioned piece that preceded it. And the singer is anguished and seems almost to be pleading for anyone or anything to answer her questions. I know she directly calls out for mother and father, and then, as if to say she's exhausted those familial resources, she then takes it all the way upstairs to whatever deity might be listening to her. So there is this, again, I think that connotes the helplessness and her frustration. So yeah, she ends the track by repeating the lines, "They say I've gone cold while I'm sat drowning in the gutter," which I thought was a very evocative line in and of itself. And to repeat it as this song, which is all of those things, kind of comes to a close, really leaves you questioning her state and where things are. There's a lot of energy in this song, and there's a lot of angst. And I really, really enjoy it. And I loved her delivery of it all, as well as the musical packaging. So yeah, this was a really good song. I had a lot of fun listening to it. Kind of surprised me a little bit because it seemed, and I shouldn't, because like you've said when you've listened to some of my harder stuff, you may have struggled with a little bit, but then you would go on to say, but I'd listen to X, Y, and Z, and they've got comparable amount of edginess to it. You know what I mean? So and for a minute I was like, damn, this is a little heavy for John. But I'm like, no, because if it does it correctly or deftly enough, I think John, that doesn't bother you. So I could see how this would fit that category where it is perhaps a little bit more bombastic than you might typically gravitate toward, but you can still find the beauty in all of this cacophonous sound that is going on in this track. So yeah, man, this is a great pick, and it resonated with me.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, this is an interesting band. I stumbled across them, I don't know how, I think through YouTube. Probably December, just gone.
Oh wow.
And they had a song, I think it's called Up and Comer, something like that. Or was it one of the other ones? No, it was a previous song. But in it, she was quite charismatic, but she was delivering in a very sort of cod Irish accent. Oh, you talking about this and that. And it was like almost like that. And I was thinking, no, this is a bit much. And then the next song was completely different. And it was she obviously just put it on for that song and that song alone. But I started to think these are really interesting, and there's a little buzz around them. And then it said new album coming out. So this is off their debut album, which came out in January this year. So it's brand new music. Yes.
So what you heard in December was like one or two releases off this upcoming album that would then release a month later. Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's very new.
Actually, the song I really liked that I was going to pick and give to you, I changed my mind just a week or two ago and put this one in instead because I thought this is fervent and it will grab your attention if nothing else.
It did.
So Sprints, they are an Irish garage post-punk band from Dublin, formed in 2019, so not been going that long. There's a lot of really nice post-punkish sort of stuff coming out of Ireland, and they seem to really be knocking out some great bands. And this band has a lot of promise that no way, a finished thing yet, but there's a lot to this, and the album's really good. So personnel: Carla Chubb, lead singer and guitar. Sean McCann, bass and vocals. Colm O'Reilly, guitar, and Jack Callan, drums. So Chubb, O'Reilly, and Callan were all childhood friends, and they've been playing music together since they were 10 years old.
Wow.
As they progressed, they recruited McCann, who, and I'll say he's a bass player and also does vocals as well. And they kind of turned serious, professional, what do you want to call it, in 2019. So they released 2 singles that year, the next year another single, and then 2 EPs in 2021 and 2022. And they toured extensively in 2023 and then went into the studio and knocked this out. I also saw a YouTube sort of program on the making of this episode, which is really interesting. There's a really nice inclusive spirit amongst them as a band, and they were recording in France, actually. And the producer, I should have written down his name. Someone will probably know about this who watches this episode. You can drop it in the comments. But he's from another Irish post-punk band that's a bit older. So we've got that real feel about it. They know what they're doing and how to do it. And so this song, I remember them recording it, and the bass player's there, and he obviously sings as well. And they were debating how he's going to deliver it. So he almost does it as spoken word, his lower registered voice, obviously coming in to flatten out against her histrionics, for a better word, vocal, which is again nice juxtaposition. So there's not a lot about them, so this will be brief. I'm trying to scour as much info as I can without getting into stupid things like, favorite colors and what animal would you be and things like that. So they were described as a post-punk quartet with the enemy said they had a raw and ferocious sound, and they married intricate alt rock with fierce bursts of noise punk and grunge. Listening to their music feels like tiptoeing into a stranger's room and reading their intimate diary entries. And that's a good point. I mean, the one thing that they have got is plenty of Irish Catholic guilt, which fuels a lot of that as well, so they've got a rung up on everybody else there. So Letter to Self is their debut album, released January 2024. It got a score of 84 on Metacritic, so good stuff for a debut album.
Yeah, for sure.
Clash wrote, Sprints have produced an album brutally honest and personal. They have not been afraid to express the feeling of being an outsider or of looking for validation or attempting to overcome self-doubt. Beats per Minute said, Letter to Self is a perilous yet fertile exploration of existential dissonance. You'll get them. With Sprint striving for and often achieving an urgency and vision strikingly their own. Hot Press dubbed Letter to Self as one of the all-time great Irish debuts, and there have been a few, so that's high praise.
Yeah.
I will say this overall sound is weird because it's kind of familiar. It's not breaking new ground, but it is kind of their own sound at the same time as well. So it's a real nice, I think energy and enthusiasm will carry along a long way for the sort of people who like listening to this anyway.
Totally agree with you. They didn't move any mountains or anything like that by through this song. That's my experience with it. But what they were going for, they knocked it out of the park. I mean, this was a perfect example of this kind of song and this subgenre of music. And I loved the attitude behind all of it.
So again, to lyrics, as you imagine, Catholic Irish, mother, father. I'm sorry to say my disposition lives another day. Actually, I will tell you this before I go any further. So their song is really about her struggles with her own sexuality and being gay and not being accepted by her parents, her family, etc.
I think that line sums it up really well right out of the gate there.
Yeah. Mother, father, I'm sorry to say my disposition lives another day. You're not going to be happy. Are any of us happy? Mother, father, I'm sorry to say my disposition lives another day. You're not going to be happy. Are any of us happy? Maybe I'm living with eyes closed shut. Maybe I'm giving, maybe not enough. Maybe that's the beauty. Maybe that's the pain. Maybe living's easy. Maybe dying's the same. They say you call it punch-drunk love. Call it power to abusers. He spits his propane, and my refusal is a fueler. He's singing from a hymn sheet. I'm singing for the others. They say I've gone cold while I sat drowning in the gutter. Mother, Father, Holy Spirit, and Ghost, I pray. When am I going to be happy? Is anybody happy? Mother, Father, Holy Spirit, and Ghost, I pray. When am I going to be happy? Is anybody happy? Can anybody be happy? They say you call it punch-drunk love, call it power to abusers. He spits his propane and my refusal is a fueler. He's singing from a hymn sheet. I'm singing for the others. They say I've gone cold while I sat drowning in the gutter, and that's repeated another 4 times. Now, very interesting, and this will probably an indication of new bands that I don't particularly follow that many new bands, but they're very active with social media. And when they posted some of the songs from the album on YouTube prior to release in December, they've actually put comments from the band in the comments section of their channel for each song. So this is a comment from Carla, who wrote the lyrics. Cathedral pulls from early 80s and 90s influence, particularly PJ Harvey's Rid of Me. More on that later.
Yeah.
Thematically, it focuses on my experiences and struggles with accepting my sexuality, the inherent shame you feel growing up queer in Catholic Ireland, and struggles with internal homophobia. With the rise of vile anti-trans vitriol being spewed across social media and Irish media at the moment, this song is a on-the-nose defiant cry against them. The people banding together over hatred, singing from the same outdated hymn sheet, is a cry of support to those of us trying to stand up for the people they consider other.
I can't say that this is emblematic of the songs coming out or the music coming out of Ireland at the time, because I can only cite another example. And that other example really is nothing like this song musically at all. But you think of a song that was sort of an anthem for just that social movement behind accepting gay people, especially in a place like a very Catholic Ireland, is Take Me to Church by Hosier or however it's pronounced, forgive me. But Take Me to Church, Cathedral, both of them are very clear.
There's no getting away from it.
You can't get away from it. And that's okay. That makes sense. It speaks to the narrative of the gay or lesbian Irish person. You know what I mean? Because they're just as much as their sexuality is part of their individual identity, their faith is part of their country's identity. And it's got to be so difficult to be a good Irish person, you know, in quotes, and be true to yourself and the best version of yourself as well. Um, and I think 2019 was aroundish the same time that that song was really popular. And this is probably written a little bit thereafter, which only suggests it's a reoccurring issue that hasn't gone anywhere, and that people in you know, whoever Hosier's talking about in his song, and this Carla, you say Carla Chubb in this band, what she's experienced, and probably what, you know, myriad other people have experienced growing up in Ireland as a gay person. um this what they're experiencing is not a good thing. It's I'm sure of it, but this output in the face of that is very much a good thing. It gives voice to a group that clearly you can tell by the lyrics in the song, and those in the aforementioned Take Me to Church feel like it gives them a voice. It gives the voiceless a voice, and that's important no matter what the social cause is. So hats off to her for being brave enough to grapple with her sexuality and her religion in the same 3-minute package with such passion, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I think things have changed. Things definitely have changed and are changing. I mean,
Yes.
there was for a very long time where the only way you could be comfortable with exploring your sexuality in Ireland is if you became a priest.
Yeah,
That's the only
which
way you
is,
could get away with it.
like, come on.
Um,
The sad
um,
irony in that.
yeah. And I think this sort of sentiment would not have existed 20 years ago. It would have been, you know, shut up and put up, you know.
Or the lyrics would have been so veiled that they would have been hard to, you wouldn't have been able to pin it on them as easily as you can when you have such explicit lyrics as the two songs we just talked about.
Well, anything discussing homosexuality in any way would have been battened down by Thatcher's government in the 80s anyway. It was illegal to promote homosexuality, which meant discussing it in any way whatsoever.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just crazy, crazy fucking times. So yeah, more power to them. Just on a final note, the rest of the album's superb as well. I'm really liking it a lot, and I think this band will go from strength to strength. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if they came out of the gate with a what was it, an 84, 82 rating from Metacritic,
Yeah,
is that what you said? Yeah, that's pretty damn good. Now that sets the bar and the standard pretty high as well. And there are, you know, history is littered with bands that have fallen short on their sophomore attempt to reach the same heights as their
yeah.
debut. But the talent is there, the savvy and social intelligence is there as well. So perhaps the sky is the limit for these guys, because this song is terrific, and I think a good example of their stuff. At least for me, having never heard any of their other stuff, it at least sparks some like inquisition on my part to like want to go and check out what else they've done, and to perhaps look forward to what is on the horizon for them with, you know, future albums.
Yeah, I haven't written this down in my notes, but I believe reading it, they also won a couple of awards for like best live act as well. So apparently they kill it, which is, to be frank, these days where they're going to make the money anyway is
Yeah,
performing live. So yeah, they could build this
yeah.
for another year or two, earn their dollars, and then
Yeah,
shut
and
up the
she's
next
got that, even in a recorded track, she's got the personality that can
Yeah.
translate in my mind to, I bet she's a lot of fun on stage. I bet she's really interesting and can captivate an audience with her stage presence.
Definitely.
Yeah. Great shout, man. I like these guys a lot.
Yeah, I thought it's interesting. New music, you know, someone's got to do it.
Yeah. Thanks for picking up your end of the couch finally, John. I appreciate it.
All about the new music. But anyway, thanks for listening to this, folks out there. Tell us what you think. Please hit the like button if you like this kind of thing. Tell us what you think about this track. And if you're familiar with Sprints, and we've got the album, I think it's really decent. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you, and we do enjoy reading all of your comments. Yes, even yours. Um, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do. We really appreciate everybody who supports the channel. And clearly, by watching for the last half an hour or so, you can understand we need all the help we can get. That being said, thanks again so much for watching. I will see all of you in the next episode of The Audiophiles.
See you later, guys.